My name is Christopher Smith. I am a professor of modern Japanese literature and culture. So one time that I can remember that I had a conflict in a hierarchy or within a hierarchy is when I was doing my research fellowship in Japan. And I had petitioned the institution I was at to extend my stay, basically. And I got an email from my academic advisor or supervisor, basically a professor in my field. I got an email from him asking for some more information or a form or something as part of this process. And so the email came in at like 5 p.m. So I glanced through it on my phone, and I said, okay, I'll deal with this tomorrow. So the next morning, I get in to a very angry email from this guy, and he was saying, "Come see me." And I say, "Oh." So I go and talk to this guy, and he said, "Well, why didn't you respond to my email last night?" And I said, "Well, it was already the evening." And he said, "Yeah, but you know that what you're asking for is kind of out of the ordinary, right? You're asking for special treatment, so why didn't you respond?" So what I realized from this interaction is that in the United States, we tend to view graduate students as colleagues, junior colleagues, very, very junior colleagues maybe, who need a lot of supervision and guidance, but still colleagues, right? And you wouldn't necessarily expect your colleague to jump to and answer your email in the evenings or on the weekends or something like that. And so that's how I was perceiving myself in kind of this academic hierarchy as a colleague. But my supervisor was perceiving things differently, right? He was seeing me not as a junior colleague, but as a student who had asked him for a favor. So the fact that I hadn't answered his email immediately didn't reflect his perception of our perceived different statures in this hierarchy. So I don't have a great story, unfortunately, for how I resolved this. Basically, I just apologized profusely. I did everything this guy asked immediately, and made sure never to make that mistake again. But what I learned is that even when you have similar structures across cultures, right, like academia, the university, the ranks of professor and student, things like that, even when you have these similar structures in different cultures, the perception of people's relative ranks and the deference people are owed hierarchically within these structures can be quite different across cultures depending on cultural expectations.